As a potential presidential candidate, Donald Trump says he'll be happy to throw open the files on all his financial dealings. In fact, he tells NBC's Michael Isikoff that even in bankruptcy, he was proving just how smart he actually is.
Wait a second, you were chairman of the board.
Excuse me.
You were chairman of the board.
I was chairman, but I didn't run the company. I had nothing to do with running the company. Management.
You were paid $2 million a year.
Excuse me. I didn't run the company. I'm just telling you.
So what were you paid $2 million a year for?
Excuse me. Because of my genius, okay?
Alex Burns is deputy political editor for Politico. Oh, we just have to smile at that just from take it all in. Okay, good. Moving on. In just a few weeks, Trump is heading to New Hampshire, but the new reports could hurt his chances. One says records from New York City show billionaire Trump did not vote in the primary elections for 2 decades. How much might that hurt him?
Well, Alex, this is something that we've seen with billionaire candidates before. Meg Whitman, the former eBay CEO, when she ran for governor of California last year, turned out that she really had not voted in decades, and it was sort of used against her to make the case that this is not a person who's serious about politics. This is kind of an amateur billionaire who's doing something fun. I think that could maybe hurt Donald Trump, but I don't think it's going to be a surprise to anyone that this guy is not a conventional politician, that he doesn't engage in politics the way the other members of the Republican presidential field have.
Well, and listen, running for president, I mean, let's take just the state of Iowa. There are Republicans there, according to a new AP report, which question whether or not Trump would attend all those sort of the small meetings, the fairs, all those kinds of events that are critical to win over that key primary state. What's the read on that?
Right. Well, that's maybe the biggest test for Trump, specifically in the next couple weeks. As you mentioned, he's going up to New Hampshire, where he's supposedly going to do a kind of walk and talk event somewhere in the state. It'll be the first time we've actually seen him interact with voters in a retail politics way. In those early presidential states, that's what really gets you where you need to go in terms of building support. And so far, we haven't seen Trump do anything of the kind.
Okay. How about the new Gallup poll this week, which shows Trump tied with Mike Huckabee right there at the top of the list? I mean, that is a general poll, but won't the Republican race depend on what happens in New Hampshire and Iowa?
Well, it certainly will. I think the poll that you just mentioned, that has to be concerning for some Republicans that the top 2 candidates, Huckabee and Trump, these people are basically at this point media personalities who are kind of flirting with the race, but haven't indicated that they're serious about running. And what that tells you, I think, more than anything, more than it tells you about what people think of Donald Trump, it's that there's this desire for new candidates, faces that aren't out there campaigning already. Okay,
but let's talk about the populist perspective, if you will, because Trump's message, Alex, is resonating with some voters out there. There's this one poll showing 70% believe the country's going in the wrong direction. Do you think then his voice, if it is a populist one, has some sort of staying power in this economic environment?
Well, sure. Whether or not Trump is the right person to be delivering that message, certainly I think there's clearly a strong desire among Republican primary voters in particular for someone to go out and say what Trump is saying, that America's on the decline. We can't trust Barack Obama to stick up for us on the national stage. The way Trump says it is that the U.S. is now the laughing stock of the world. And he's clearly gained a lot of traction. He's had a big microphone to deliver that message. And if another candidate can sort of hit the same chord in the same confrontational way, they might go farther than a pretty flawed guy like Trump.
Okay. Alex Burns, deputy political editor for Politico. Thank you.
Thank you.